before we get into the actual video, the first minute and a half kind of just goes over some backlash I've been getting because it seems that some folks don't understand what scalping is compared to just someone actually starting a business. And if you truly know me, you know I'm truly actually trying to start a business and actually try and sell at market a little below as fast as possible with also trying to make money as a business. So I went over that kind of partial. If you want to skip the first minute and a half, you can. If not, that's cool. Again, it's just me almost defending myself because it's gotten a lot of backlash more recently. So I thought I'd go over it. Hope y'all enjoy.
Welcome back. God bless. Hope y'all are doing well. I think in today's video, as you guys can see on my screen, I wanted to bring up something before we kind of go into our normality of our YouTube. So I was looking at some comments on my recent YouTube video, and I've noticed that people don't understand what scalping is because I was in correlation to scalping. Now, if you look at my prices, all these prices, and if you actually know the market, all these prices are at market, if not below market. That wouldn't consider me into a scalper. Now, if I had this at $12 a pack, if I had this at $50 a pack, if I had Shrouded Fables at $9, then I'd be considered a scalper. Same thing for all my cards. I adjust them when prices are needed. So I just wanted to make that fully clear. If you want to check out matrixcollects.com, that is my website, and I am a pretty small business, so I would appreciate it. And the reason I bring this up is simply because as a small business, it's not easy to deal with a bunch of wave of hate because I barely have some reviews. Like, granted, I have 5-6 good reviews, which is positive. That's always very good. But when you're an up-and-coming type of someone who's making a website, it's a little difficult when there's waves of people just not liking the word scalp. When they see it, they attach to it, even if that person's not actually a scalper. So before you call people a scalper, please do your research. You don't want to hurt a small business. So let's get into today's video, and it's basically going over Scarlet and Violet base set. Now, Scarlet and Violet base set is one of my favorite sets in specific, just simply because, well, for one, I've invested a good bit. Now, at the moment, I only have about 4 loose packs, and the reason that's so is because I keep reinvesting into the store. So I don't have that much at the moment. However, Scarlet and Violet packs are going up significantly. Now, they're at $5.62 at the moment, which is a little crazy, I feel. In my personal opinion, I think that is crazy that the price is already here. Will it go down? Not really. And the reason that's so is because we're at a point to where Scarlet and Violet's not getting reprinted. Maybe we might get Paldea Evolve reprinted, but there's no shot of Scarlet and Violet base getting reprinted. It's too far gone. Plus, Pokemon's already reprinting Searching Sparks and a couple of other the sets Paldea Fates. Like, we don't have much wiggle room for one, and for two, that's just not happening. This set is too old, and unfortunately, as much as I would kind of want it, we're not going to get it. So these are $5.62 a pack, which is crazy. Booster boxes at the moment are about $180. They have gone down a little bit from their $189 price, but they're still going up. And I don't think they're going to go down either. But there's a bunch of cards in this set that I'm actually holding on to that I'd recommend you guys try and hold on to if you're trying to, get a couple bucks in the future, you know what I mean? With not that one at all. We're going to go to some of the... Actually, we should probably go best... No, I'll go high to low. High to low will probably be better. And we'll scroll down because Scarlet and Violet base actually had a lot of cards. It's not just the illustration character rares, which there are some, but some big things. So, Gardevoir EX being one of them. So, this is, I believe, one of my... I'd say one of the best in Scarlet and Violet. So, this is obviously a Gardevoir. Now, with this card in specific, what's really cool about this card is this card, well, it's had some weird buyouts for sure, but the thing with this card is this card has a storyline with the Ralts and the Kirlia. So, the Gardevoir is obviously like the ending, but if we go to the Ralts is the beginning of this storyline. So, they just move in, blah-de-da-da-da-da, and then they go to the Kirlia, and then, they're yapping here or whatever. And then it goes to the third one, and then the third one obviously ends the story. At the moment, the only one I have is the Kirlia. But the Kirlia has been going up in price. I bought it for $26, and at the moment it's at $34. So the card's going up. But my personal opinion on this is I'm buying the card, holding on to it. until they officially say that Scarlet and Violet base is out of print. So I'm excited for it, and especially with the fact that we're going to get a new era of Pokemon, because we've already had so many Scarlet and Violet sets. We're going to have a new era eventually. And whenever we do, that's just going to add even more rarity to a bunch of these Scarlet and Violet sets. So that is super sick. I love the whole storyline that we have here. It's honestly, out of all the storylines, definitely has to be like my top 5, because there's a lot of cards that show like storylines of some sort. I love it personally myself. Then we have the Drowsy card, which everyone thinks this card's overhyped, and it was back when it was at $64. But now that it's at its $37 mark, I don't see it going below $30. The reason is because if you actually open up Scarlet and Violet base, a lot of the times you won't pull this card. Like, a lot of the times you genuinely will not pull this card, and that's simply because this card is pretty rare to pull. Like, there's so many different illustration rares that this is a difficult one to pull. So it seems like that's what a lot of people have been realizing. I sold mine, I believe, when it was at like 26. So I got my money from it, so I'm totally happy about it. It's funny that it was at $11 in December. Now it's at that 37. But yeah, personally, I don't think it's going to go below 30. Now, will this card go up in the future? Absolutely. And especially because it's the illustrator Tomokazu. So it's just a very popular illustrator. I think now this card's going to have like a nostalgia factor. So people remember, like, do you guys remember when this card was a $60, $70, $90 card selling? You know what I mean? Yeah, highest price sale was $83. That is crazy. But then if we go to the next page, like, there's so many cards in the set. Slowpoke. The PSA 10 Slowpoke sells for such a high amount. It's mind-blowing. Like, mind-blowing. It's a beautiful card, though, but for the high price that it sells at, it's crazy. Now, the reason it sells at such a high price, I may add, is because of this set's printing quality isn't that good. Same thing for Paldea Evolved. Those two Scarlet and Violet sets, for some reason, just had very bad printing quality, which was odd because that was at a time of Pokemon where it was not dead, but it wasn't at the peak that it was now. So I'm really surprised that they didn't, like, tee up on the printing quality. But beautiful card. One thing I noticed for sure is that there's not too much text that takes away from the artwork of the Pokemon. So very beautiful card. I wouldn't say it had like a buyout. Obviously, it has like the graph to do it, but it's not high enough card quantity, in my personal opinion, for it to be a buyout. But it's at $28 at the moment. When it goes down like this at the graph, that's when I'd always try and think about buying. At the moment, the only price I can find it at's like $30. And I'd be kind of hesitant on the 30 purchase, but it's a really nice card. If you can get it cheaper, I'd recommend it. Riolu, this card is going to go up like crazy. This one did have a buyout. You can see here. I think Riolu is just this card right now where I don't think it's going to go more than 30 for like the next couple months. But I genuinely think this card has so much potential to go way higher. Now, I already have one of these. I'm holding on to one of these. I plan on getting a second one. Now, as you can see, like, the text isn't taken away from the art. It's beautiful art. I'm not going to lie. Lucario is in the background, too. And as of yet, we have not gotten a Lucario illustration rare or character rare. So, such a good card, in my personal opinion. Obviously, the bias to liking it because my favorite Pokemon is Lucario. But I think as a Pokemon card itself, it's one of the best. And like I said, I already have a copy, and I'll probably pick up a second one. So, at the moment, it's at 24 if we go to last recently sold. Nearman's 20, 25, 25, 27 sale there. So, I think it's a great card. But like I said, there's no Lucario form, so since we see in the background, there's that. Iono, I mean, I always pick up illustration rares. Now, the reason, trainers. Because the reason I pick up trainers is because in past history of time, and Pokemon has a really beautiful pattern. When a certain type of card gets expensive over time, it happens to every single genre of, like, the new sets. So, like, Black and White had fuller trainers. Those are very expensive. XY, same thing. Then we have Sun and Moon, same thing. Now we have Sword and Shield, same thing. Scarlet and Violet is the same case, that I think. Now, it did have a buyout, but at the moment, it is at its lowest. It's at $28. I always say, if a card could go up at that price and people are going to buy it, it's going to happen in the future. Like, that's genuinely my source of thought, is that if it was at this price before and sold that many, and, like, yes, this was a buyout, but there's definitely other people that bought at this type of price. If people did that, then there's a chance for people to buy it in the future at that price, if not higher. So this is a beautiful card. The Pikachu there as well. When I look at a Pokemon, if there's different Pokemon in the card itself, then I think it's a good thing to try and look into trying to get one. Then we have the Miraidon, which I actually have one coming to my house soon, which is awesome. I love this card. And the reason I do is specific because there's different Pokemon here. Reminds me of Fortnite Neo Tilted. It's the most oddest thing. If you know, you know. But it's a beautiful card. All the colors, you can see like the outside as well. The Pokeball Lantern. And then the Fido, obviously, there is pretty cool as well. I think this artwork is just so chef's kiss. At the moment, it's at 24. I can see this card definitely being a $40, $50 card in the future. But again, once I get this card actually at my crib, because I did buy it, but once I get it at my crib, definitely holding on to this card for sure. Maybe depending on the condition, I might PSA grade it. And then this one, way too underrated. It had a buyout, but it's still only $18. Dude, look at this card. Like, a couple things. The Dedenne, and then just the grass, the nature is so fire. Like, man, I'm really surprised this card's only $18. And I think the reason is because there's so many copies out there. But I think eventually, once people stop pulling them as frequently, that this card's going to go up. This card is so nice. Definitely. The fact that it's only $18 and it's that nice of an artwork is mind-blowing. Last recently sold, so you can still get it for $16, $17.25, $16.26. Like, you can still get it for around $16, $17. Beautiful card. 1,000,000%. Me personally, if I can find a card, again, I have one coming, but if I can get one cheaper, that's amazing. Now, this card used to be super overhyped. Now, is it still overhyped? I don't know. It's got some nice artwork. I don't really understand the Pokemon itself, but dude, a lot of people love this card. It was at $18 after its buyout. At the moment, it's at $15. Again, if you can buy it when it's going down, that would be a decent recommendation. Obviously, if you're trying to buy a card and then hope in the next couple weeks that it goes up, then obviously don't buy at a downslope like this, because buyouts that happen multiple times only happen with Drowsy ever. So that's my thought on it. I genuinely think that, you know, if you're someone that wants to hold on to it for like 4 or 5 months, then that's obviously where you'd get your best return on it. But it's a nice card. If you go to the last recently sold, we have, that's Korean, 1924, 1544, 1839. So it's not that good. $17 to $19 range. It's a nice card, in my personal opinion. Fido, this one had a buyout a bit ago, I believe. Sort of ish. But at the moment, it is at $12.67. It's not a bad card. Now, I think people are just going to see it as like that adorable type of card. And that's what it takes for some people. Of just, oh, the card's so adorable. I love this card. I need to get it in my collection. So I like the roses, the bread. Looking at the bread, literally the dog shaped like bread. I think it's a nice card and definitely expect it to go up in the future just from the look of it. Now, if we go further, like, there's some cards that, like, you don't even know the name of. But, like, look at the artwork. It's only a $10 card. But look at the artwork on the card. You know what I mean? And I think eventually people are going to see this. You know what I mean? Like, eventually a huge chunk of the community are going to see how nice this artwork is. And by the time they do it, Scarlet Violet's going to be out. And granted, it's kind of already out because Scarlet Violet isn't getting printed anymore. Because if you don't know Pokemon has 3 waves of a set. Sometimes they'll do like a 3.5 if they really think so. But for the most part, every single set that is done in the past is they do 3 waves. First wave where everyone gets it, second wave, and then the third wave. Like, that's how it's been for a very, very long amount of time. The only way where it's different was back in XY when they did Roaring Skies randomly, Primal Clash randomly, and Ancient Origins. Those were all very, very random that they just threw out. So other than that, which they haven't done that since XY, and XY hasn't been a thing since 2019 when they last printed Evolutions. Like, they don't print XY, obviously. So that's what I'm assuming for Scarlet and Violet, that I'm pretty positive they already had their 3 waves. So I wouldn't see why Pokemon would go back and print Scarlet Violet. Pachirisu had a crazy buyout, but right at the moment it's at $11.54. But I can see this card going way higher in price. There's a little Pachirisu in the back, but just seeing, oh, there's one right there. I didn't even notice that. But it's a cute card. And again, there's a lot more people than you would think that collect just cute cards. Like, especially on, like, if you go on TikTok, you can see just the amount of people that collect just cute cards. You know what I mean? But Graveyard had a huge buyout. At the moment, it's only at $11. This would be your now to buy it. I said this when this was low. I said it when it was at, like, this $10 mark. Because there's Gengar, Drifloon, Ghastly. That's all it takes for a lot of people to pick up this card. Especially, like, if I was a Gengar fan, I'd look at this and be like, wow, this is one of the cheapest ways to get a Gengar illustration rare. Because there's no other way to get an illustration rare of Gengar. So, is there? I don't think so. I know there's a way for Ghastly, but not for Gengar. So, such a cool card. But, next one, yes, the Starly's cute. Wiglet's Wiglet. But this card had a buyout, but at the moment, it's only at $8. I said this before when it was at $5. This is the only time we've ever had a Scyther in the illustration rare. Dude, this card, look, even though you can only see like a 2/10 of it, dude, this card is so fire. Look at the fact that this Pokemon isn't taking much of the art. It's very basic. It reminds me kind of like the Generations Mr. Mime. Not Mr. Mime, Slowpoke. Actually, I'll show you guys. Slowpoke from Generations. I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. Or I guess it's from Fossil too. That artwork right there. They made a reprint in Generations. But look at this card. This is the only Pokemon as of yet that we've gotten a Scyther as a illustration rare. Yes, we have Scizor, but we don't have Scyther. So this is the only way we have it. I think that's why people did it as a buyout. Such a cool card in my personal opinion. Just because that Pokemon isn't taking much of the art and you can see the Scyther. I think that's so beyond fire. Other than that, there's not too much. Like the Palmet has definitely, it had a buyout, then it's kind of went back down. It's not getting much sales because it's Palmet. It's like if we go last recently sold, $5.95, $4.99, $6.38, $6.37. So it's like that 4 to 550 range. Look, this card had a buyout just because it's an adorable card. And every card was having a buyout if it was adorable of some sort. I will say this card weirdly had a buyout. Like, absolutely. Like, literally every card's had a buyout. This is one of them. Now, at the moment, it's only at $6. Look, I mean, it's only $6. If you threw $6 at it, you could get a couple bucks back. But I don't know. It's interesting. This one's really cute of a card. At the moment, it is at $5.30. If you go to last recently sold, $8, $6.24, that $4.44 right there. It's a beautiful card. Like, we have the Fields, we have this Smoliv picking off the plant. It's a cute card. And like I said, like, a lot of times, if you look at a cute card, you'll see it. This is tough. Now, obviously, it had like a little buyouts at $7.83. This is a tough card. I think this is dope. They got Bisharp, Pawniard, and Kingambit. Hey, this reminds me of like a Ninja Turtle. Dude, that's fire. But, again, at the end of this, what I really just wanted to get across in this video is that there's so many cards. Even the Sandile. Sandile is a big one. This one had a buyout. Then we have Skwovet. Skwovet just had a buyout as recently. It's at $5.07. All these cards have very cute artworks. Or just very fire-looking artworks. Like, they look sick. So, in my personal opinion, what I would do is I'd try and invest as best as possible. Before these cards skyrocket, these packs are already going up in price. Scarlet Violet base set packs are already going up in price. So, that's going to mean as well is that not only are the cards going up in price, obviously the packs going up in price. So, how are you going to be able to get the cards if the packs are already going up in price? Without, I don't know how I'm trying to say it. The cards are going to go up with the packs. Like, that's what I'm trying to say. I'm, like, confusing myself when I don't need to. Like, yes, these are, like, very high volumes of packs of, like, size, like 600. But it's obviously because, like, people are noticing that Scarlet Violet is a super underrated set. So, I'm trying to make this video before these packs go up even farther. Try and invest when you can before they go bye-bye. Like, you'll probably find some in stores still. Like, bro, I found Darkness Ablaze, and I found, what was the other set? Astral Radiance. I found both of those in stores. So, it's still possible to find this stuff. So, my biggest recommendation is buy when you can. Don't overpay for some of this stuff. Like, don't try your best to pay as least as possible for this. So I want to thank y'all so much for showing up into today's YouTube video. God bless. Jesus loves y'all. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see y'all in the next one.